Hey, this is Supreet, and today we're going to look at how to do REST API testing via Postman. So, if you have SOAP-based APIs, you could go with SOAP UI as an interface to test your, SOAP-based APIs. Now, here in this case, we have chosen Postman as a interface to test your REST-based APIs. And the second thing we need is the API itself. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna choose a dummy API. So now this is our dummy API which we're gonna test. All right. So this make sure this is a desktop version, not the browser version, since if you don't, if you have this Chrome extension of Postman, you won't be able to test it. The functionalities are not made available over there, but if you download this desktop version, all the functionalities for testing is made available. So make sure you choose that. So now I'm gonna just paste this URL over here, which is an API, and we're gonna choose get method. And if you say send, yeah, look at this. So here you have your resultant. Now I'm not sure if there are many more results with this API. Let me choose an ID 2 and say send. Okay, you have some different results over here. All right, so so for this, let me show you how we're gonna test this API. So if you go to this tests here, if you have query strings, you can pass the query strings over here, and accordingly the resultant would be displayed. So now to test it, you're gonna go to test tab, and in order to do testing, Postman has come up with a simplified methodology wherein you're gonna choose snippets, and it's gonna help you to perform your testing. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna check whether the status code is 200 or not. So if status code is 200, then that means the response is successful, the request is accepted, and it is processed successfully, and the response is successful. All right, so so now here it shows 200. Okay, so we're gonna test it. So if you choose this snippet over here, you get this functionality over here to test whether the processing of API is being successfully done or not. All right, so now I'm gonna mm, hit send method, and you're gonna choose this tab test results. If you choose this, it's gonna show you how many tests are passed, how many are failed, how many are skipped. Right, so now this is my first test case, and it says pass. Right, so now what more testing can we do? Let me see. So this says uh, test whether response body contains a string or not. Right, so let me click on this. So here is a snippet. Now it says pm dot expect. So what should be expected? So pm dot response dot text dot to include. So it means it is expected that the response would include a string value. And what string value is this? Let me go to the body section over here, and let me choose this. Now this is a string, all right. So let me check whether the resultant of an API uh, would contain this string or not, right? So now if I say send, you could see the test result over here. This is also passed, right? So that means API gives you a resultant which includes a string like this. All right, so what else can we test? Let me check. So there's something called JSON value check. Let me check this. Oh, all right. So this is gonna check whether whatever JSON data you get as a response, it contains a specific value or not. Let's say, for example, this JSON has a user ID of value 1. So let me check this whether user ID has a value 1 or not. All right. So for that we have pm.response.json, and this would give you the JSON data. They just have declared a variable and assigned that response value to that variable. And now this contains uh, a key called user ID and value called 1. So this is what we're going to test. Let's say if I say user, JSON data dot user, sorry, user ID, which is equal to 1. Right. If I send this, you're gonna say test is passed. Same way, if I say JSON value dot completed is equal to false or not. If you say this is also passed, let's say now it is expected as true, but the actual resultant what we get is false. So in this case, test case would be failed. Let me test this. Yep. If you see the test result over here, it says assertion error. Expected was false, but the actual was true. I'm sorry. We were expecting a false, result, but we are asserting as true. But whereas over here, the actual result is false, but we are asserting that whether it is equal to true or not. Hence, it is failed. Right. So this is how we can do API testing. Let me check whether what else can we test. Mm, okay. Okay, so we're gonna test whether the response time is less than 200 milliseconds or not. This can be used to test whether the API is taking longer time to get the response and send it back to UI or the backend service. So we're gonna test that. So for that, we're gonna again check this function expect, and what are we expecting? The response is the response time is lesser than 200 milliseconds or not. So there's a function called response, and then response time, pm dot response dot response time to be below 200 milliseconds. Now we can decrease this. We're gonna say 10 milliseconds. Let's say if it passes or not. It is failed. So it says the response is given in 48 milliseconds, and your expectation was to check whether it was below 10 seconds or not. So we're gonna say 48 milliseconds, and this should be passed. Right. So this is response time is, yeah, we're gonna change this test so that confusion would be cleared. Yeah. So it says it is below 48 seconds, equal to or below 48 seconds, right? So in this way, we're gonna check whether response time is below a specific timeline or not. So this is how we're gonna do our API testing, and hope it is very simplistic in nature to understand and implement. So keep trying all your APIs, testing your APIs. Keep checking for different values keep creating different test cases over here and see if it's passed or failed, and that would really help, in understanding how your API is performing, right? So thanks everyone, thanks for your time, and keep commenting.